Can you go public with the first offer? Can you publish what we brought to the table, and can you publish what the post office brought to the table? Because right now, there's a lot of people are not having faith in you.
Well,
And
I'll
no,
say,
no, look, I'm just
John, no, John, I'm going to
we
answer your
need to
question.
we need to build our union up to have confidence. And I
John,
think one of the
I,
best ways is for us to show our membership that the post office actually came out with a shit deal, and we actually came out with a good offer. So
okay.
anything we could do to rebuild the trust within our rank and file is crucial. And even if it's 10 members, we need everyone fighting. And if we can just put a PDF up on the members portal of what our first offer was, is that possible?
I recorded a video about it on February the 3rd. It was essentially materially the same in February of 2023. That was our offer. Our offer was general wage increases of 3%, 4%, somewhere in that neighborhood, moving everyone table 2 to table 1, maintaining their time credit in step. We would have to do some agreements to prevent some pay anomalies that we've had in the past and stuff like that, and eliminating the city care assistant workforce. That was our initial offer. The Post Service's initial offer was $2.4 billion over 4 years. And, $2.4 billion over 4 years would buy a very small percentage of what I just talked about. What I just talked about over 4 years is somewhere in the neighborhood of 17 or 18 billion in terms of cost to them. So, like, when I say it doesn't, like, it's not like we put that on the table and then they say, okay, I'll do, 1%, not do this, not do that. It doesn't, like, it's not a linear process like that. But I've said that, I don't know, 100 times since we opened bargaining. That's kind of where it started. So, what I don't do at that point is when they say, I'll spend $2.4 billion, I don't just start chopping stuff off of that to try to get down to their number. You start doing things in bargaining and discussions to move what they're willing to pay up. For example, you say to them, okay, we're going to move table 2 all into table 1. Well, Post Service, dude, you want to spend this much money. Let me tell you what would benefit you that you're costing in your mind that doesn't cost you anything. And that is higher starting pay. Because if you do a higher starting pay and they're career employees, you're not going to waste this bucket of money over here that you waste on hiring CCAs, that you waste on sending them through the onboarding process and training them, and then they leave. And we quantify what that is. And these are like the exercises that go back and forth. And eventually, over the whatever it was, year and a half roughly period, they moved about $1.8 billion more. So the 2019 agreement cost them $2.8 billion over a longer time frame, 44 months. The TA was $4.2 billion over the 2023 TA over 42 months, just to give you some context there. And then as we move into interest arbitration, what we have to do is present evidence on the different elements of our proposal, general increases, the COLA piece we've already talked about, the structure of the workforce, and then see how far that arbitrator, starting with the TA, hopefully, as we present it, we can get him to go in terms of what he's going to have the Postal Service spend. That's kind of the way this economic process and conversation
Yeah.
really
It's not
works.
just that it's just not the economic process, right? So it's impossible then for us to see what the black and white language was from the post office from day one.
There's not black and white language. There's sheets of paper that have cost calculations. There's never black and white language until we actually start editing Article 9 when we are very close to a tentative agreement. It's all concepts back and forth. And then once, we get to the point of close to agreement on a concept, we start editing like the language in Article 9 if we need to do any MOUs. But that stuff happens really quickly because we do all economics off the record because it's not in either party's interest to show up at interest arbitration with all these on the record proposals that have gone back and forth. That tends to have a chilling effect on bargaining. No different than if you handle a grievance at informal A or, at formal A, when we get to arbitration, it's our grievance, with the rights arbitration at the regional level. Um, we want to be able to request whatever the hell remedy we want to request and put on the evidence we want to put on, based on what's been in that case file. We don't really often need to get into what discussions were about settlements before we reached, unable to resolve at informal A or impasse at step B. So each side makes their argument, puts on their case, and then we go forward. It kind of guarantees each side the flexibility to do whatever we need to do in interest arbitration,